Yeah, I'm so excited when we're down here because you never know who's going to. Yeah, wait a minute. There, somebody else. You never know who is going to walk in, and when it's Lois' brunch, what a fantastic deal she does here.
Oh, this whole thing it reminds me of I don't know whether you remember the Algonquin Club, which was up in New York with all the famous people that would get together at this bar. Well, this is kind of what it reminds me of. You've got all these great people who have such incredible backgrounds in music and rock and roll. And I've just met a few of them for the first time today.
Yeah, when we talk about it, though, Bob, let's talk about Bob Kelly. In case you don't know, Candlelight Theater right here locally in Wilmington, Delaware. What a great house you've got over there.
It's terrific.
You're all right, Tony. Going right on through. Yeah. Oh no, you're good. Come on through. Yeah. This is what it's all about. There's people here. Tony Moen. Yeah. There's Lois coming in. Yeah. But that's it. People like Tony, different ones stopping by here. But your house down there, because there's something exciting coming to your way that Lois Luray Productions is putting on, I should say, and Email Studio and Classics.
And the Classics, that's right. We're really excited to have them. They had a couple phenomenal hits way back when, and they're also with a group called Late for Dinner, who are terrific. And the Coda Band's going to be backing them up too. And these guys have a lot of Delaware ties, and they're really talented. So I think the people have a wonderful time when they get here.
Because there's, you get the show. Let's step up here a little bit so we don't get block people. There's the show itself, with the email. But he's a performer. Now you got to go way back in time because this he had some big hits.
He had some huge hits, and I've actually listened to a few of them recently.
Now and then.
Till then, it was. That was a huge hit, and I remember that when I was in school. Yeah. I used to dance to that song.
And they still doing it. Got a great. They do a fantastic show. It's a Vegas style show. I got to tell people because they do Vegas. They do they do the big houses, and it's something special to have them coming here to Wilmington, Delaware.
Absolutely. I mean, this is why we're so lucky because they're used to doing 1,000 to 5,000 seat houses, and they've been willing to come to our little venue, this little Red Barn in Arden, because of Lois's help.
Yeah, connections there. But the show's going to be when?
May 31st. It's Saturday night, so it's the weekend after Memorial Day, and tickets are actually already selling pretty well, even though we're 2 months out. So come on down. If you haven't been there before, you're going to love the place, and I know you're going to love the bands. Yeah,
and then, of course, this is your host. He'll be down there, Bob Kelly, as always. Pleasure to see you, my friend. And
it's great to see you again, and I love your show, so keep it up.
Hey, the party keeps going, and here comes one of the. I'm just honored to see this guy, Jimmy Merchant. How are you?
I am so blessed to be here. Louis Lyman used to say, I'm blessed to be anywhere.
Of course, if people don't recognize name, it's hard for you not to recognize name. When you're talking about the teenagers, When Fools Fall in Love, one of my favorites.
Yeah, well, that's the beginning of it all for me and for the legacy of the group. We're celebrating, 58 years.
Has it been that long?
January 1956. And there's still two original surviving guys. That's me and Herman Santiago. And we're still performing.
Oh, you're still out there doing the hits and everything. Of course, you got to fill in with a couple of extras down. But, what a group. I mean, 1956 and carrying all the way through. You guys had hit, you were there. You were on the big stage.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 1 minute we were singing, doing talent shows in junior high school. We were 4 ninth graders and 1 7th grader. The next minute we were singing on the corner and somebody said, you guys come over here. And next minute we had a hit record.
You never know what you're just blessed. That's what it boils down to. Blessed because as well as I do, and you met quite a few of them here today. I'm sure people that want to achieve that. I mean, there's so much talent out there, and just being in the right spot at the right time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I had a drive to want to sing harmony. My father was listening to all the Count Basie guys and Duke Ellington and, Charlie Parker. My mom, she was listening to the radio all the time. She liked she was the love song person, Billie Holiday, Billy Eckstine, And then here comes rock and roll on the scene about 1955, 54. Well, a little earlier, but, you got the Orioles coming out with that song Gold. It was the Flamingos with Golden Teardrops, and I'm about 12 years old, and I'm listening to this beautiful stuff, and my ear was picking up all this stuff. So I already had an ear for music. It was just a matter of being attached to it, and then putting the ability to work.
Yeah, nothing better to me than harmonizing music. I mean, that's music of music. Now, I'm listening to you talk here, and I'm trying to figure out, is it baritone or bass?
All of them.
Yeah, you do it all then.
Do them all.
Yeah, because I was going to say, just what a voice that's got to be with it, and when you're talking about it. But there was 4 of you, I guess.
But let me just take that back. The lead singing part. If I had the lead voice that Frankie had,
yeah,
I wouldn't have been in that group. By myself.
I would have been out there, because when you're talking about that, the tenors and things like that. I mean, find 4 guys that can harmonize the way that you guys were able to do it, and keep your career going all that time has just got to be remarkable. Where you at now? You doing shows still? I mean,
yes, I live in Virginia. Herman lives in Florida. We have 2 great replacement singers. The one that's singing Frankie's songs is Timothy Wilson. He's from a group from '58 called Tiny Tim in the hits. Tommy Lockhart is with formerly of an a cappella group called the Sheps. And we travel all over. I mean, we were in England last year. We've been.
That's where the good money is. I was talking to a few of the Tramps and some guys there. They said, Tim, over here they pay us. Billy Paul for me and Mrs. Jones. He was telling me, he said, Tim, over here they pay me about $4,000 or $5,000. He said, over there they pay me $30,000. Jimmy, it was a pleasure.
My pleasure
to meet you and everything.
My pleasure.
And enjoy the food and everything, the company, and once again, Jimmy from the Teenagers. And the party keeps rolling on. Guests keep arriving and going and all. And I see a couple coming in. They're every which way. And I'm gonna call them. Hey, Rick, can I get you guys to come over here? It says Rick Griffith, of course, from Late from Dinner, and coming along with him behind him there is Tony Moen. He's stopping and talking to people. We'll get him in a minute. But Rick, you're doing Late for Dinner. You got to be excited down at the Candlelight Theater with the Emil Stucchio.
Absolutely, it's going to be a great show. Emil Stucchio and the Classics. We're going to be there opening up, doing the intermission for the show. A lot of dancing, great music, dinner. It's going to be a fantastic evening. Can't wait for it. Real excited.
You got to be excited, because I saw you down at the Grand. You got a chance to sing in front of 11,000 people down there, so that was exciting. Now you're going, so you're doing a lot of openings.
Yeah, things are starting to really take off. We're thanks to Luray Productions. They're really getting us some really decent shows to play, and I'm real excited about it. Yeah,
and everything. So, but you got that. You don't want to miss that. When is that going to be taking place?
That's May 31st at the Candlelight Theater.
Yeah, so get your tickets. You can go on out. Tony, let me get you to walk in here. Rick, I'm going to get you to slide out of the way. I want to get Tony Moen in here. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, good. Because when you talk Delaware, you got to talk about Tony Moen. I mean, people can catch you everywhere. I mean, you got so many different things going on. But here I hear, and all of a sudden I'm talking to Luray Productions, and they said Bobby Vinton's coming down, one of my favorites. I'm like, oh wow,
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden they said Tony Moen's opening for him. I'm like, that's got to be cool.
It really is. For me, it's Bobby Vinton. Being Polish, growing up in a Polish neighborhood, singing Polish, Bobby Vinton was and is tremendous. I mean, and just it's a real honor.
Yeah, and I was listening to him here the other day because when I heard he was coming, and everything, I pulled and at he's still got those chops. I mean, he's still putting it out there.
A lot of people don't realize the depth of his abilities. Aside from the fact that he sold over 75 million albums, had 30 top 40 hits, not one, not two, but 30. That's impressive, and he's a multi-instrumentalist.
Yeah, and he's coming here to the Grand Opera House, I believe it is, and that's going to be when?
September 27th.
September 27th. So you can get your tickets from the Grand, or we'll put a phone number up there and everything else. Yep. But the nice thing is you get to check out Tony on the big stage. I mean, you got to be excited about that.
It's going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it, and just to be in the same room, in the same context with Bobby is fantastic.
You gonna do some of your petty stuff or not?
I haven't thought of the set list yet, but I'll probably pick some really cool apropos songs that I think everybody will enjoy.
Yeah, because if you haven't seen it, I guess you're still putting that show out there. Your Richard Petty actor.
We're doing the Tom Petty Band, the big.
Oh, Tom, I've got Richard on my mind over here. Kevin's looking at me like, who's Richard Petty? I'm thinking race cars, right? Yeah, NASCAR. But Tom Petty, but you've got that going.
I'm doing solo, the Petty Band. We're in rehearsals right now. We'll be probably going back to the World Cafe Live.
Great show. You want to check that out. You want to check Mr. Moen out anytime you can. He plays in and around town. You go website there?
I'm working on one as we speak.
Yeah, he always stays very quiet and then back in the back. The drummers, that's what they do, So
It's true.
So thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you, Tim. It's always a pleasure.